Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel. You're walking around with me this morning in my apartment here in Stockholm, Sweden. And it is Thursday, March 22nd. Excuse me for my forehead shot there. It is Thursday, March 22nd and I'm at home. I got up early this morning around 6:30 to get myself going. And I've been reading and talking and chatting and looking at my YouTube channel and connecting with people virtually. And here I am sharing with you this morning. Just turning on the camera and just feeling my center. I was just taking a little nap just now and I just thought, I just get up and turn on the camera and be with my subscribers and my Facebook friends, and we're listening to soundtracks for studying on Spotify. Emotions come and go, you know, and that's what happens, and I think that is underestimated because life, when you're conscious, is changing all the time. And you know, sometimes you're like this and sometimes you're like that, and all of those things come and go. It's really interesting to live so consciously, and that unconditional love is... Look, and I'm affected by the music at the moment, my mood, because it's pretty. And I'm just gonna let my thoughts rise and fall while I'm sharing with you this morning. And let it just come to me. You know, like, when you've been raised by your environment and your cultures and your circumstance and your situations and everything that creates a person and a persona and a character, and it's incredible to recognize at my age, like at 51, that when you witness yourself and your reactions to what is happening, and that you consciously make choices spontaneously with all that is, and the so-called mental constructs that come with the choices that you make, and the awareness of all of that is like ever-changing. And the so-called, I love how this rises, the so-called requirements that one puts on themselves to respond is so illusory, because it's like, I don't know, it's a very miraculous thing. Now, what is interesting right now is that since I turn on this camera and nothing is, you know, there hasn't been really a thought about what I'm going to share with you at the moment. And I'm kind of like just, as I'm getting used to evolving out loud, like evolving out loud is like an incredible thing. And I'm showing my vulnerability here because I feel like, you know, like, I feel like in that space of being vulnerable, and I'm getting so used to being vulnerable that it's just, I don't know, my mindset is frowned upon from some people, and some people not, and it resonates with some people and some people it doesn't, because the characters that we've developed because of all that has been experienced, for me, is can be such a false kind of thing in one's experience, because when you think you need to adapt your behavior to fit into something that is more comfortable, you realize that like, if you are the witness and the observer of your own experience, you certainly realize that you do that. And when you're around certain people and around people, just people, you know, like I was talking yesterday about the masks that we wear and how we adapt ourselves to all circumstance, and we want to feel better, and we want to feel good, and we want to feel like, you know, like we are, you know, that we're impressing people, and that we want to feel bigger, and our egos want to, like, you know, grab onto that opportunity and to make yourself look, I don't know, like more important than you actually are. Because in fact, what I certainly believe is that nobody is more important than you, and nobody, like, I see, like, there's only love, and, you know, and something in a condition, and I say this over and over, but I'm just gonna say it again because this is, for me, is therapy. And this is, for me, like, important, and putting myself out there like this, I say it over and over because it is something that I'm working through, and it's there, and it's true, and it's real, and you know, like, like I can feel at the moment that I need to say something to impress you, or I need to say something to be interesting, and to look a certain way and be a certain way, so, like, you can like, and all this stuff. And oh my gosh, it's so interesting because I have to, like, do that anymore, and I'm living more from this spontaneous, evolving character, and people are gonna like, and people are not gonna like, and people are gonna label and judge. But in what is so interesting to observe in the witness is that that's going on in my own mind. And so what is reality, and what is reality? And, you know, if that play brings some kind of suffering or some kind of superiority or anything, it's just simply a play. And I can feel right now that, like, will I upload this, or will I share this, or, you know, because every day is a new day, and every moment is a new moment, and opportunities are to be had, and circumstances change, and, you know, imagination is there. Imagination, what do you imagine? What are you imagining in your mind? What is going on? Like, as if you know, if we label and judge everything in our experience, and when you're by yourself or when you're around people or at your job or like in public or all these kind of things that we respond to automatically are not like, I'm in a space where I'm not responding automatically mostly, and if it does, there's forgiveness to be had because or awareness, or you know, it's very, very interesting because it's just like liberating to be able to be yourself and being able to, you know, that's a long journey. It's like a really long journey, I think. And you know, I don't know, like right now I maybe seem scattered because I'm just talking off my head and nothing is scripted or nothing is you know, so I feel really brave at the moment if I upload this, which I will upload this because, you know, it's what I do and what I'm doing, and I love that relationship to myself, and and it's not like, it's just not easy like sometimes because I'm supposed to be this and that, but like I said just a second ago, this is all in my head. Like all of it is in my head. So if I live in my head a lot and not in my heart, which living in my heart is more the predominant choice because nothing else really makes sense in a way, you know? And I don't know, like nothing makes sense because it seems to be all constructs that we make up in our heads, you know? And the attachment of the outcome or the circumstance, the attachments are like another concept, and concepts are changing all the time, and the circumstance and the power of yourself, the power of choosing in every moment and recognizing opportunity and what is best for you is extraordinary. This music, you know, I've in my other talks, you know, it's like I talked about that life is a movie, and that, you know, and I play with that, and I play with my existence, and I'm playful, and accept all that is there, and you know, it's like, you know, it's interesting, like here's something, a concept or something, you know, like I'm a person, and I'm at home or like in this apartment in Sweden, and because I travel, so that's always changing my environment, and I'm with myself all the time, so in my head, and all of my thoughts rise and fall, and feelings rise and fall, and all those things that happen all the time, every day, except, and even when I'm dreaming, like dreaming is also a different state, you know, like of course, because you know, you have nightmares and you have like dreams of all kinds of experiences, sexual dreams, desires, nightmares, horrific things can happen, interesting things can happen. That's in the dream state. So that's also part of an existence. So, but then, you know, if it's, I don't know, if it's labeled, you know, like that reality is not a dream state, but my mind is always coming up with all kinds of things from a response to what is, and that is happening, like it happens, like it's happening. So so when I'm by myself, you know, like I think that there's, and I assume, like assumptions is also an interesting thing because we assume a lot of things in our lives and situations, and where, you know, where our friends are, where our partners are, and you know, if we their stories are going on and continuing, like we leave work, you know, I leave the dancers, or I leave my the staff, or I leave the management, or I leave my friends, and you know, we've just been together, and then they go on their own separate ways, and I am going on my own separate way, and you know, I assume that they're carrying on with their lives, and what are they doing privately or not privately, or in public, or shopping, or how they feel, or what they feel about this, and all of these constructs and these stories arising and falling in the mind, and you know, and it's it is like a person developing more and more and more and more and more by these constructs that the mind is coming up with, and all this kind of stuff. It's really interesting because it's like when you become aware of that, and you're not like, when you're in the moment, and you know, and you can make a choice from all of this, just like you think that everybody else is making choices and conscious choices and living their lives outside, and that you assume that they're this and this, that, and you know, and that the building, like, let me just say also, I'm just letting it all flow right now, is that like buildings are there, and you know, the opera house is there, and you know, this is my experience, and the roads that I walked on are there and everything, but I can't really, this is my imagination, I'm evolving out loud, and I'm just saying this like just because I assume that they're all there, and that construct, or that thing that I imagined, like, it seems to be also illusory, because it's all in my head, like, you know, it's all in my head, and it happened all in my head. So I don't know, like. And just right now, it's like, it's just rising and falling, I'm just following my thoughts, and sometimes I'm making sense, and sometimes I'm not making sense, and I know that, you know, like, you know, if you turned on the camera, like, you can always, you know, say smart things, or, you know, try to be impressive, or, you know, like, right now I feel the freedom of just expressing myself, just expressing, and not having to follow anything, and that's just what happens to me sometimes. Sometimes I feel scattered and I don't know, not so interesting, and but sometimes I feel very interesting, and I feel like, you know, I have, you know, some good things to say, and then I realize I don't really. I think the freedom of not being attached to any of this is really wonderful, and it's creative, and it's not like trying to get something, or trying to like have anyone understand you, or like that this is perhaps an experience of a person. Well, it is an experience of a person that I'm sharing here on my camera, and like, you know, I assume that you're all out there, and it seems crazy, and it's crazy, 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 but I don't know, maybe it's just simply what happens. It is, I guess. Oh, that's just what I wanted to share with you today, and I will be uploading this, and regardless of whatever you think. So it's like, it's so interesting, because the people-pleasing thing is like so going, and of course it rises, but it just has less grip on me, and the liberation that I feel of doing it, it's like, regardless of how I seem, is letting go, just letting go of being important, or letting go of being seen a certain way, or letting go of just all of it, and loving that in me too, and that nothing is right or wrong, and it's just illusory and lovely, and there's no attachment, and there's no suffering to be had in myself, and if negativity arises, it arises and it passes, and positivity arises and it passes, and people come and go. People like the channel and people don't like the channel. People like you and don't like you, and the impermanence of the sun changes its position, and the room gets more bright and less bright, and oh, the play of it all, the play of it all. I love it all. I just love it all, and I love sharing that with you, and just turning on the camera and just being there with you. Let me look at my, it's 10 o'clock, and so I'm gonna leave in about an hour to go to work and rehearse with the dancers. And I think, excuse me, I think like what I'm gonna do in that rehearsal, tomorrow's the performance, and I don't even know really exactly what to do. So I guess I'll just go with the flow and show up and have an idea of what to do. Da da da. Life is a state. Life is life coming and going, and I get to choose that, and it's so beautiful. And I choose love with all of it. All of it. As crazy as I may seem right now, or just living myself out loud with purpose, and it's just being brave. And he comes and goes. Maurice just loves everybody, and loves himself, and all of it, it is. No requirements. I love everybody. Love you all. Thank you for watching me, and thank you for those who don't watch me. I wish you all the best and love, and see you tomorrow.